And what's going on? Fontaine here, and we're back on another one, this time with the Excalibur. We just got back, we were over in Japan and we met some amazing sound designers, and this instrument here is amazing. I mean, fully playable. I mean, amazing. I mean, I'm very, 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 very impressed with this. I'm not saying this because it's a product from us. I just think building relationships with different sound designers, and seeing different perspectives and different views on audio quality and things of that nature, I learned a few tricks of the trade. But I'm not going to run my mouth too long. I'll let you guys be the judge of that. So let's check out some of the sounds. Lovely sound quality, man. Amazing. I'm not too much of a piano player. A lot of times I play by ear. But I'm just giving you guys a taste of the samples that's in here. Very, very well mixed. The sound quality is crisp. I mean, very, very crisp, very, very pristine. The sound engine, the way that we have it set up, is really, really incredible, guys. We also have a mono, legato, and the glide feature up in here. By the time you guys see this, I'm trying to think, do I want to put some 808s in there? I know we have a couple of 808 expansions out, but to make the perfect hybrid professional drum samples as well as professional instruments that I'm going to be showing you guys, it might not be a bad idea to throw in some nice keyed up, nice 808. So I guess we'll maybe by the time this video comes out, we'll throw some 808s in there as well. But let's go and check out some of the other instruments in the kit. All right, now I'm going to jump into a grand piano. This one's modeled after the famous Steinway. One thing I'm loving about the audio quality in this, it gives you the true authentic sounds of a lot of these instruments. In this Steinway grand piano, you can even hear like some of the hammers as they hit, very well recorded with the mics. Let's check it out. Yeah, I'm definitely loving the way this is going down. And you can see it's fully playable. Yeah, man, I'm loving that, man. Just the crispiness of it. And you have, the nice wave display up there every time a key is hit. And of course you have, your filters here, if you want to go ahead and You know, if you're looking for like a different type of style of sound, you want more mid-range, a little more bass on that. We also have a built-in compressor here, which limits your sound. You know, if it's getting too loud, you can go up under the hood and actually adjust the compressor on that. You have full control of the sample start. You know, if you're looking for that crispy hit on that, if you want to lower the volume down, you can drop the sample decay. You know, you can adjust that if you want to do it that way. You know, if you just looking for a different, unique blend of sounds. I like mine more crisp, you know, more authentic. Nice. Also, keep in mind, I'm not trying to make a track. I'm just, you know, displaying some of the sounds. This one right here we call the Hellrazer box, kind of like a music toy box, kind of in a way, type style of sound. You know, and it has just a little bit of a delay, as you can see right here, between some of the notes. So that's to more or less give you a more natural feel. Kind of a millisecond delay between your notes gives you that nice little, you know, gives you like that toy box kind of feel. You know what I mean? It's like, so you can make like nice little harmonies. Another great thing about it, we have the mono legato features down here. You can switch that on and off as well as your glide. So if you want to get those really, you know, if you really want to get those bugged out notes, I mean, for whatever reason, you can. Nice feature to have. Another cool thing about it, let me turn this off and show you something else. Under the note repeat tab here, you notice here where you have your master volume here. You know, if you want to control your volume, that's a time saver. We also have the velocity and humanize here. Now, if you're wondering what these steps are, this is basically just if you want to have more of a human feel to your notes. You know, you have control of your velocities. That's another very important feature if you want to, you know, to make a track that's not going to sound, you know, completely robotic. You want to have a good rhythm and nice motion in your tracks. The note repeat feature here, as you can see right here, we have from 128 notes, you know, to something as far as a bar. So let's say if I hold one key and let's say we put this on 16th notes like this here, you know, it's really moving out pretty quick. But we can, you know, we can slow that down if we want to do 8th notes. You know, for whatever reason, your track, you might want to have that maybe with like a nice delay on there. You know, that give you that nice subtle touch, you know, if you're making, you know, a certain style, genre of music. And if you notice, it's not completely perfect. It's playing at these velocities here. Just to give you a more dramatic feel, I'll kind of just start low and then I'll bring it up like this and then we'll drop it back down just to give it a more dramatic effect so you can get a better feel to understand what's going on here. Now, if you hear that, you notice how it's sequencing out based on this here. So I think that's a nice touch as well. You know, you can get as high as 128 notes, which would be, you know, too fast for this. But it's definitely a nice feature to have with the, you know, humanize and velocity here. Now, this is going to come in very handy when it comes to your drum samples. for trap people making trap music, if you want to make certain snare rolls, hi-hat rolls, this note repeat inside of Kontakt is something I felt I wanted to put in there, because I haven't seen too many Kontakt expansions that actually have a note repeat in it. So I was talking with a couple of software developers, and some were saying it was a limitation in Kontakt. I do scripting now with Kontakt, getting my feet wet in it, and I know a lot of developers were saying something more or less the lines that when it comes to the note repeat feature, it's a limitation within Kontakt, or perhaps it could play havoc on your CPU usage. We try to keep this not too CPU heavy. We try to keep it as friendly, as possible. So it's not going to eat up your system resources. It's a nice, clean GUI interface here, when you're in a lab for those long periods of time. So I think it's a very nice feature to actually have this in Kontakt, because again, I haven't seen that in too many. So with your drum samples, that's a nice touch to have in there. You have everything basically in the box, your mixing tools, everything that you need right here to just go ahead and make that next hit. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into some more sounds. On this particular instrument here, we didn't want it to have that perfect clean sound. We want it to be really dirty, like a broken down harpsichord mixed with like a piano. We layer some different sounds to get this very interesting instrument. I think the best way to describe this would be something experimental, something more or less in the lines of in the 70s, mixed with little modern day age instruments with it, because what it does, it gives you that kind of eerie vibe to it. I think this is dope for producers who want to make tracks maybe like with that eerie feel, maybe like that RZA Wu-Tang type vibe, or maybe like some gangster hip hop, maybe like some type of getaway music or something like that. That's what it sounds like to me. But I'll let you hear some of the chords in this. Now that right there would sound like a hot loop, to start off with, a nice little bass line with that, like a Oh man, that'd be killing it, man. Then with like some ill kicks and snares over that joint. And then you got like this. Playing that right there, you know what that reminds me of, fam? That reminds me of like a remember back in the day, like in the 90s, like what's that rapper's name? Coogee Rap. That sound like some piano chords Coogee Rap will be rapping on, like spitting some ill verses on that joint. Psst, hot. You know what I mean? That joint is hot, man. All right, now we're gonna get into some more synth sounds. Now, from a hardware perspective and from a sound designer perspective, I think it's very interesting when you don't have to worry about the EULA and all of that there, when you're working from hardware devices and you're tweaking out the presets. That sound becomes original, that sound becomes yours, and that was more or less what we were aiming towards with this particular instrument here. Messing around with the presets, coming up with some interesting layers and some interesting sounds. Now, this synthesizer here, there's a lot that you can do with it. Right now, let's take a listen to the sound. This is more like in the Moog style, generic, messing with the oscillators and filters and things of that nature. And I have some headphones on right now, so I hope that queuing this up correctly with the filter here. I mean with the equalizer here, because I could be going a little overboard here, because with the headphones that I have on now, the frequency response is giving me like a really rich, lavish, deep sound with the bass. So I should have my monitors on right now. That's what I should have been doing. So I'm gonna play it safe here and not add too much bass, because I don't want anyone's speakers like bugging out. That right there made me have to pull my baseball cap down, turn my head to the side, like, oh man, because I already know, man, like these type sounds right here, man. Perfect example. You know, when you mess around with the LFOs and things like that. For example, we have some presets in here, but you know, if I was to take this bypass off here, we use a sine wave with the frequency 2.0. We'll fade that in. This is a nice LFO wave right here, or a nice sine wave. So if you want to get that G'd up, you know, you want to get that G'd up, laid back gangster sound, you know what I mean? The sine waves coming real handy for that right there, man. So that's a jewel I'm gonna give you right there. But yeah, man, man, incredible, man. Some nasty sounds up here, man. I'm telling you, son. Yo, let's go ahead and jump into some more joints. Yo, and of course, so what would it be without some dope drums? So let's go ahead and check out some of these ill drum samples, man. Man, you already know what time it is on them drums right there, son. Them drums is thick and sick, heavy, banging. Them joints right there, son, made me put my baseball hat down again. Yo, matter of fact, while I got this joint open, yo, let's check out this note repeat. This is another important feature, and again, as I was stating earlier in the video, when it comes to the humanize, when you know you don't want everything sounding too perfect, so you can come in here, well, some producers anyway, but velocity makes a lot when it comes into your tracks. Trust me on that. When you have velocity in tracks, it doesn't sound so robotic, it doesn't sound so stiff. So sometimes, you know, you want to have that live drummer type feel when it comes to that. Again, this kit is 100% royalty free, by the way. So let's check out the note repeat feature and the swing feature here. This is something I forgot to mention earlier in the track. I mean, in the video. So let's here are some of the different note repeat values here. Now, I was giving it that jumpy type feel is that humanized feature there. So it's giving that. Because let's say, for example, you did it default like this. Notice the difference between non-human, not bad, versus, let's say, give it a more human feel. We want to give it that, you know what I'm saying? Give it that more live human feel. Now, of course, you're going to come here and play around with this a little bit. I'm just sitting here just estimating here where these hits should take place. Get your head nod a little bit, right? Then you got the swing here. You notice how this will add a little more swing to the track. Now keep in mind, all this is one button, man. I'm just holding down one key. Big difference between. See that? Kind of galloping a little bit there. Now, also, you have the source beats per minute. I forget how to do it right now. I think it's like, yeah, right here. So let's say if I bring this down to, let's say 90, I'll just type it in. Let's just type in 93 for the sake of argument. We'll put it in here like this. And then we'll go back over here. Versus, so you see right there. So it's definitely perfectly synced up with the beats per minutes. Now, of course, the swing's determining the strikes on that. So you play around with that and you get your own little rhythm in that. This is basically for the rhythm of that. All right, man. So that's pretty much it. It's your boy Fontaine checking out the Excalibur. Man, let me tell you, man, my hat's off to this joint. Incredible, to say the least. I will definitely be making some hot bangers off this joint right here. So I'll tell you what, man, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the insight and perspective that I gave you on this great plugin. If you're interested in it, head over to www.vipsoundlab.com. I'll leave a link in the description and you guys can go ahead and pick it up. See you guys in the next one.